From the unexplained to the mundane, come join us on a journey to the fringe. Hello and welcome to Journey to the Fringe. And to those of you that now consider us the Bigfoot genital people, I say to you, we have always been those people, and it is very clear in our back catalog.
It's true.
We are your podcast hosts, Taylor and Chelsea, here today to talk not about Bigfoot, but it probably gets confused for it all the time. No, today we're talking about monkey sightings in North America, Chelsea. Big monkeys, not Bigfoots.
Okay, now I get why you opened it like that. And we don't have those.
North America has no native monkey populations. We do have monkeys that live in zoos, and a lot of the time when we're talking about these sightings, it's either going to be, oh, you kind of saw a Bigfoot, or it was probably a monkey that escaped from the zoo. Like, that's the most common things.
You're saying in this episode, like, it would be more likely you saw a Bigfoot than, like, a gorilla?
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Cool.
And in fact, I kept the ones out where it was a gorilla. There are ones where it is a gorilla, but no, these are...
I love that.
They're historical, some of them are recent. There's a whole story behind it, Chelsea. And guess what? We get to touch on one of our favorite people, Hammerson Peters, who did a lot of research into this. And again, I just need to say it, Hammerson Peters, not enough work on the Bigfoot genitalia.
Oh no, it's gonna become evident again on this episode?
See, I
hate that.
It becomes more evident that he should have known about the box. Because basically we're going to be talking about a backwards box here.
Okay. I don't know what that means, I don't think.
Okay.
Are you going to tell us?
I think it'll be evident as we move forward.
Okay.
To those of you who don't know what a box is, go back like 4 episodes to the Bigfoot genitals episode. We don't need to repeat ourselves about that.
But I'm confused. What's the box?
BOQS.
Oh, okay. I thought there was some mysterious Bigfoot box that I forgot about.
No.
Okay, we're on the same page.
Now, of course, when we're talking about things, we like to go back to historical accounts or the historical record of a subject, and there is a historical record for wild monkeys living in North America. Hammerson Peters has found us some great stuff. At the southern border of Alaska and Canada's Yukon territory, there's an oral tradition that seems to trace back to the watershed of the Copper River, home to the Ahtna Nation. According to storytellers, vicious long-tailed men once lived in the Mentasta Mountains of southeastern Alaska and in caves along the Tanata Creek and the Slana and Copper Rivers north of the Wrangell Mountains. They called these peoples the Satani, meaning the tailed ones, or the monkey people. Versions of the legends appear in Johnny Smelser's In the Shadow of the Mountains and in James Carr's Tatla Twinen and
wow, that was great.
Tata Nen.
Yep.
The Headwaters People's Country.
I'm familiar.
I knew it. And it was perfect, wasn't it?
Yep.
Smelser's grandmother, Mary Smelser Wood, and Ahtna elder, Markle Pete, described the creatures as kind of human-like, hairy all over, walking on their hind legs with long tails. So it's in the back this time, Chelsea, is what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Fred and Katie John, who shared their own versions with Carrie and the Satani, said the Satani were as big as a tall person, with human-like faces and hands, but covered in body hair. And that's an interesting distinction when we're talking about these monkey sightings. They're never like bigger than normal people. They're either at normal person height or smaller.
Okay, so we're thinking regular monkeys.
Not quite. Bigger than a regular monkey.
Okay, so it's like, it would be like its own species.
It would have to be its own species, yes.
Okay.
Now, here is the tales that they tell in this indigenous group. Several hundred years ago, an Ahtna band camped at the confluence of the Slana and Copper Rivers, near present-day Slana, Alaska. They began to experience mysterious disappearances. It started after a dog dragged the fresh tail of a fish into camp, which was odd because the band hadn't been fishing that season. Suspecting another group nearby, scouts went upriver to investigate. The scouts never came back. Over the following months, more people vanished, first children, then women, then elders. Even men who stepped beyond the fire late at night disappeared as if swallowed by the dark. Fear spread through the camp, and the kind that makes you question whether the woods themselves are alive. And one day, a hunter returned in terror, claiming that he'd seen a man-like creature with a long tail perched on a fallen tree. A young warrior decided to track it, and he was convinced this tail one was behind the disappearances. Following the creature's prints...
Interesting. They're killer monkeys.
Yeah, they are.
Well, I wouldn't go... We don't know know that
Sorry,
they're
we don't
killers.
know for sure. Let's keep reading.
Yeah.
Following the creature's prints, the warrior found a hidden trail strung with grass ropes and primitive traps,
What?
which he managed to avoid. Eventually, he reached a hill south of what's now Batselnetus near Tanata Creek. There he saw several tailed men in the distance, using their tails to propel themselves forward, curling and recoiling them like springs. He climbed a tree and watched as the monkey people played a game, shrieking with delight as they rolled a ball back and forth. Then he realized with horror that the ball was the severed head of a young man who had recently gone missing.
What the hell? I'm just picturing this all happen, and it's just like, what the
And
fuck
his
is
monkeys.
this guy witnessing?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Rain began to fall and the creatures retreated up a trail to a cliff along the Copper River, climbing into caves that lined the rock face. The warrior ran back to camp, certain he'd found their lair. The Ahtna gathered their weapons and torches and were determined to end the killings. When they reached the cliff, they found the ground littered with human bones, gnawed clean. The women tied green branches into bundles and lit them until they smoked, and thrust them into this cave's mouth. As the smoke filled the caverns, the monkey people began to crawl out, screeching for air, only to be met by spears, arrows, and more clubs. The fight was brutal. One Ahtna warrior was killed, but by nightfall, the tribe believed they'd wiped out every last Satani. They returned to camp, never to be troubled by the tailed ones again. Weird thing about that story, Chelsea, it reminds me a lot of, I forget the name of that cave in Arizona. It was the giant redheaded people that like got lured into a cave and then they burnt the fire at the mouth of it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Was it Lovelock?
Lovelock.
No.
Hey, yeah, it is. It is.
But it's funny. It shares a lot with that story, but there's just differences to it.
Yeah, there are differences to it. The tails, for one. I love that the tails are like springing back and forth.
Yeah, these ones were actually aggressive. I actually can't remember. I don't remember the giants being that bad in Lovelock Cave. Their neighbors were racist. They didn't like them.
Yeah, no, it does remind me of Lovelock Cave, but I can't remember the specifics of Lovelock Cave. These guys are killers. I wasn't convinced at first, but now that I have the evidence, they definitely seem like killers, especially that they're playing soccer with a head and setting traps. But yeah. Legend
says the cave still dot the cliffs along the Copper River and that fragments of charcoal and scorched arrowhead relics of that battle can still be found there. In 1939, archaeologist Frolic Gladstone Rainey described a site near Batselnetus that locals identified as the Satani Den. 30 rectangular pits dug into a moss-covered bench above an old stream bed. Rainey's team found only scattered charcoal, but the layout matched the oral tradition almost perfectly. Whether those pits were homes, traps, or something else entirely, nobody knows, but the story of the Satani, the monkey people of the Copper River, remains one of Alaska's strangest intersections of folklore and archaeology, a tale that sits somewhere between myth and memory. There are other similar stories to this one throughout the region. Amongst the Gwich'in of northern Alaska, people living near Chandler Lake spoke of an ogre, quote, described by a more sophisticated informant as looking like a monkey. The Ayak of the Copper River Delta told of a hairy man-like being haunting their territory, more gorilla than monkey since it lacked a tail. The Tanana and Talton also described tailed man-like creatures, sometimes called the monkey people. But I guess they wouldn't have a word for monkey at the time, would they?
Well, I
because
guess
there
not
wouldn't
if
be
they're
monkeys
not
in
native.
North America. Yeah.
You know what? I'm glad that you called attention to that because I kept thinking, that's so weird that they're calling them what they're calling them. Because wasn't it tailed men on the other one?
Yeah. Or monkey people. And I think it's just because like they describe tailed men, they call them monkey people, but they wouldn't have a natural
they wouldn't have a word
for
for
in their
monkey
language.
Because it wouldn't be there. Interesting. Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Now, McKinnon even linked these beliefs to notes by Father Emile Petito, a 19th century missionary among the Dene of the Mackenzie River. Petito recorded a legend claiming that the ancestors of the Dene migrated from western lands populated by hairy-tailed men, a mythic memory of origins that sounds eerily like the Seton stories. Later, McKinnon noted that Yukon storytellers distinguished between the monkey people and the brush man, a man-eating wild man known elsewhere as the Nakani or a Mahoney man. The overlap between these figures, tailed, hairy, predatory, suggests shared mythical vocabulary stretching across the subarctic with this story. Another long-tailed humanoid of Alaskan lore is the Kushtaka, the land otter man. This creature haunts the coastal panhandle where the sea and the forest blur together. According to anthropologist James Tate, in his 1921 Journal of American Folklore article, Talton Tales. Some indigenous speakers even call them monkey people when speaking English. The Kushtaka are said to be spirits that prey on those lost in the wilderness. Like fairies in Celtic folklore, they confuse their victims, causing hallucinations and madness, and some lure wanderers to watery or subterranean homes, trapping them forever. Others simply lead travelers astray until they vanish. Now, although the Kushtaka are most often associated with the Tlingit folklore, Tlingit being the historic sovereigns of the Alaskan Panhandle, they also appear in the stories of the Talton, whose homeland stretches across northwestern British Columbia and south-central Yukon. At least one Talton tale, recorded by anthropologist James Tate, portrays the Kushtaka not as a terrifying predator, but as a mischievous kleptomaniac, more prankster than monster with the mannerisms of a monkey. The story centers on a young Tlingit man who didn't believe in the land otter men and wasn't afraid to camp alone in the wilderness. One night he heard noises outside his tent and assumed it was wildlife. He built up his fire and loaded his musket. As he drifted towards sleep, he noticed a figure watching him from the edge of the firelight. He raised his gun, but found he couldn't pull the trigger, and then everything went black. Between flashes of consciousness, he saw the creatures throwing snow onto his fire, trying to smother it. Another joined in, both working together as if this were a routine chore. Every time he tried to aim, his body refused to obey. When dawn came, the fire was out, the sun was gone, and the clearing looked untouched. Shaken, he started back towards his village. The trail home wound through a narrow pass between two hills, and at the entrance, leaning against a stump, was his missing musket. The story simply ends with, after that, the young man believed in Kushtaka and was afraid of them. Now, folklore aside, reports of monkey-like creatures still surface from time to time in North American wildernesses. What sets a few of them apart from the standard Sasquatch stories is the mention of a tail, a detail that's rare enough to make investigators take notice. In his 1970 book, Year of the Sasquatch, journalist John Willison Green described the experience of Gordon Ferrier, who claimed to have seen a monkey-like creature near his home in Mamquam River, a tributary of the Squamish River in British Columbia. One June morning in 1969, Ferrier spotted the animal standing in a roadside ditch and was covered in hair, walked upright, and had a bushy tail. Later, he found three-toed tracks in the same spot, 15 inches long and nearly as wide as his hand. Local dogs, he said, were very upset on many occasions. The Squamish Times? Go ahead.
How many toes do monkeys have?
The same as us.
That's
Some of them
what
have
I
4
thought.
just because the thumb is like not quite where it should be, but for the most part, everything is 5-digited.
Okay.
The Squamish Times identified Ferrier as a boarder of Paul and Norma Grattan, who lived on No Name Road, just south of the Mamquam Bridge. According to the paper, Ferrier had first seen the creature weeks earlier after it ripped open a window in the Grattan's home. He described it as about 5'8", reddish-furred, and long-tailed. Not quite human, not quite animal. The following day, Mrs. Grattan and her children stayed with a neighbor, Trudy Gulliman, fearing the visitor might return. Their fears weren't misplaced. While they were gone, someone or something entered the house through a window and left a pile of moss on the floor. After a week,
it was going to be moss.
No, neither did I. About a week later, around 6 in the morning, Ferrier saw the creature again from the dining room window. He described small pointed ears, reddish hair, and a pushed-in face like a Pekingese. It walked on 2 legs. He shouted for Paul Grattan, who arrived just in time to see a long tail vanish into the brush. Outside, they found deep tracks, heavy enough for a 300-pound animal.
It just sounds adorable, I think. Maybe it's because you said
See,
Pekingese.
I think the cute thing about Pekingese is that they're like 5 pounds. Is it not? This thing was like 300 pounds and 5'8".
I don't know. It could still be cute.
Okay.
All I'm picturing is a cute face, though.
Mrs. Grattan reported the incident to the RCMP, who took plaster casts of the prints before raking away the originals. According to Green, the casts were later destroyed. Mountie suggested hanging a bag of bread and honey from a tree to see if a bear would take it. The bag remained untouched. The Vancouver Sun quoted local housewives describing the police response as bemused tolerance, polite disbelief. But for the Grattans and their neighbors, the experience was anything but amusing.
An odd response. I would have even accepted if they said, "Ma'am, are you sure you didn't see a Bigfoot?" That Chinese looking thing, it just does certainly sound adorable, though. There's a reason I'm not a police officer.
It does sadden me a little bit that they go back to the classic, you saw a bear, just hang something up.
It is disappointing, but I was half expecting, being how you introduced this, that they didn't say, "Ma'am, are you sure you didn't see a Bigfoot?"
Now, Chelsea, we have this type of creature up here that is mostly man with a tail and hairy.
Yeah.
But overall, there's something in North America called the devil monkey or the devil ape, which is a phenomenon mostly in the US.
Is it a real creature?
Well, it's a cryptid.
Oh,
so,
okay. May I Google it?
Sure. Yeah, I don't think you're going to find much.
Okay, I just want to see what I'm looking at. But we think it's a cryptid.
Yes, it's definitely a cryptid.
But it sounds like more real than paranormal.
I have to remind you, there are no native monkey or ape species to North America.
Right, okay. Thank you for reminding
While
me.
modern sightings of tailed monkey-like creatures are rare in British Columbia, they're surprisingly common in the eastern half of the continent, especially in the Appalachian Mountains. Cryptozoologists call this elusive primate the devil monkey or the devil ape. Some researchers argue that consistency across reports suggests a single species. In Mysterious Creatures, A Guide to Cryptozoology, George Eberhardt described the devil monkey as standing anywhere from 3 to 8 feet tall. That doesn't sound like consistency. Sorry,
No,
just an aside.
Not at all. That sounds
They
like
consistently describe it between 3 and 8 feet tall.
Yes, consistently. His height is variable.
They generally describe it as a color.
This looks like a baboon. Kind of.
Yeah, sorry, let me finish the description here. Covered in light brown to black hair with pointed ears and a baboon-like muzzle. Witnesses often mention a long tail, sometimes bushy, sometimes hairless, and tracks about a foot long with 3 rounded toes. It's said to walk on 2 legs or all 4, attack dogs and livestock, and make hooting or screaming sounds that don't match any known animal.
Hooting?
Hooting and hollering sounds.
It's an owl.
Hooting and screaming.
Everyone's confused.
Why didn't he come up in the owl episode then? Lauren Coleman chronicled several early devil monkey reports in Mysterious America in 1983. The first came from a 1941 article in Hoosier Folklore, describing a preacher named Reverend Marsh Harpole hunting squirrels near Mount Vernon, Illinois. He claimed, quote, a large animal that looked something like a baboon, end quote, leapt from a tree and advanced towards him. Harpole struck it with a gun barrel and fired into the air until it fled.
At least he didn't shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, people were built differently in the 40s. They had the restraint to strike first and then shoot into the air.
I do appreciate that of the 40s.
Soon after, locals began hearing blood-curdling shrieks at night and finding strange tracks near creeks. Farmer's dog was killed by an unknown predator, and hunters organized to track what they assumed was a panther. One driver later saw a creature bounding across a road near the Big Muddy River, and another found tracks along the West Okaw River. Some speculated it was an escaped kangaroo. Despite the search, though, no one caught it and the story faded, but not before planting seeds for decades of similar stories. Chad Armand's North American Biofortean Review in 2000 recounts a 1959 case near Saltville, Virginia. Early one morning, a couple driving down a rural road was charged by a large monkey-like creature that slammed into their car, leaving deep scratches in the paint. The woman described it as having, quote, light taffy-colored hair with white blaze down its neck and underbelly, end quote. Standing on 2 muscular back legs with shorter front limbs. It chased the car briefly before disappearing into the woods. Days later, 2 nurses in the same area reported being attacked by something that ripped the convertible top off their car.
Oh my god.
Search dogs refused to follow the trail and the creature was never found. Years afterward, witnesses compared the animal to a magazine illustration of a prehistoric lemur-like primate.
Wow, it's really escalating here.
I know. Well, there's a reason
charge.
it's called the devil monkey. Like, it attacks.
What normal creature would just like slam into a car? Most animals would be afraid of a car, I would think.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, this one it's too brazen for its own good. Like it just like got Canada Goose level of bravery.
Yeah, either that or it's got rabies or something. Like it's rabid.
Now, next up would be the Enfield Horror, which is given a very brief section here, but you can go back and listen to that episode. We did it during one Halloween. We covered the Enfield Horror.
I can't remember it, so this will be great.
I'll give you the Coles notes here. Coleman also documented 3 more encounters near Enfield, Illinois in spring of 73. Witnesses describe a gray monkey about 5 feet tall, heard howling and shrieking in the woods. The consistencies of these reports in the same region helped cement the devil monkey's reputation as a distinct cryptid rather than misidentified Bigfoot.
Oh, I remember this one. It was never described as a monkey, was it? It was that one that kept coming into backyards.
I think they've settled on kangaroo, but it was described as monkey-like.
No. If I remember this, which I don't, it wasn't monkey-like or kangaroo-like. It was a horror. if I remember correctly.
Now, one of the most detailed modern accounts came from Debbie Cross, whose story was recorded by researcher Ron Schaffner and Kenny Young. In the early hours of June 26, 1997, Cross was watching TV at her rural home outside Duncansville, Ohio, when her dog began barking. She turned on the porch light and saw a fur-covered monkey.
Was it her home?
I sure hope so.
Okay. I have to ask the important questions. Didn't know if it was a random home.
I didn't think to look into that part.
Okay, well, we're left unsatisfied then.
She turned on the porch light and saw a fur-covered, monkey-like creature standing by the pond about 30 feet away. It was about 3 to 4 feet tall and gray in color, she said. It had large, dark eyes, rounded ears above the head, it had long arms and a short tail, and it made a gurgling sound.
I don't think I would like that. Like any of it. The gurgling sound.
But wait, the creature glanced at her and then skipped across the lawn on its hind legs, bouncing with its knuckles.
No, I don't think I like it. I think I'd be rather disturbed.
It followed a barbed wire fence before vanishing into the dark, screeching as it went. See, yeah, I think you want to see the West Coast version of this thing, Chelsea.
I gotta be honest, I don't know that I want to see any versions. I don't want to see anything out of place. I like to see creatures that are supposed to be there. If I see a monkey that shouldn't be
No,
there,
you don't. You don't even want to see a fish in the water.
No, I don't want to see that. Though, if I saw something with a Pekingese face, I could be pleasantly surprised. I might accept it. Depends on if it's 300 pounds or not. I think it might be okay, as long as it's not ramming my car.
Armin's later Bio14 review included a follow-up from a woman who saw a similar creature while driving between Roanoke, Virginia and Elizabeth City, North Carolina. She described it as all black with short, sleek fur, pointy ears, and a long, thin tail. 6 feet tall when upright, with a torso like a thin man and hind legs like a wild cat or dog. Eberhardt's Encyclopedia lists another sighting from Danville, New Hampshire on September 9th, 2001. Oh, could this have been a Mothman-like figure for 9/11? The witness described a giant black monkey that appeared 8 more times over 2 weeks.
Monkeys don't count.
Okay.
Winged humanoid in any sort, I would accept. This did not have wings.
Even Canada has a few outlier cases for these monkey sightings. Thomas Morgan of Kawartha Lakes, Ontario, found a 1992 report from Ian Harper, who claimed to have seen a, quote, big white monkey, end quote, near Lake Scugog while biking with his dog. The creature stood 3 feet tall with long arms and a large head and made a deep grunt when confronted. Morgan also recorded a mid-2010s account from 2 Cree sisters near Jackhead, Manitoba, who saw a large monkey-like creature cross Highway 6, about 4 feet tall, brown-haired, broad-shouldered, and tailed. The location details are fuzzy, but the description fits the devil monkey profile almost perfectly.
Yeah, that one sounds okay.
Yeah.
He's stubby.
And he isn't ramming cars and gurgling.
No, I might accept that guy. I'd be a little bit freaked out. Albeit, because he's out of place.
In 2001 in Danville, New Hampshire, over a couple of weeks, the local fire chief and many others witnessed a large black monkey as it ran amok in the small town. It jumped out of the trees. As soon as he hit the ground, he took a giant leap and went back where he came from. The first thought I had was, there's nothing that's native to here. That's nothing that's native to here. That's from an article from that time. It would be accompanied by a strange hooting or howling sound. This monkey was spotted multiple times in the following days, despite attempts to catch it, however. After a few weeks, the creature disappeared, never to be seen again. Locals concluded it must have been pet or a zoo monkey turned feral after being abandoned.
Yeah.
And, of course, Chelsea, no episode is complete without us doing a quick search for stories like this on Reddit to see what kind of stories
I thought
we
it
can
was
get
going to
from
be
this.
a rating of one of the sightings.
I wish.
Like the 1-star ratings from a zoo on the monkey enclosure.
To be fair, most of these sightings are in Appalachia, and if you're going to Google reviews of Appalachian places, you're gonna just be in for a bad time.
You know, I've heard that the Appalachia...
It's not known as a rich part of the U.S.
I've heard that area is super spooky and like full of crazy monsters.
I think
like
it's just because it's so uninhabited for long parts of it, and it's such it's not rich people that usually live in the Appalachians.
Okay, I didn't know that, but
so
that makes sense.
This comment is posted by Reddit user UseMe, and the first E is with a 3. use_me_.
Okay.
Written 4 months ago, so this would be February of 2026. I believe my aunt and her partner saw one of these. They had a cabin in West Virginia, and both of them had a dream of a predator baboon-looking thing was peering in their bay windows of the bedroom. They later were driving through an old campground and saw this thing, leading to the discovery of each other's dreams. They had no idea what a devil monkey was. After she told me about this, I informed her of such shit. Said it hopped across the road fairly close in front of their truck. They looked at each other and said something along the lines of, "I thought I was just having a nightmare about that thing." She told me this casually, chilling on the beach a few years ago. They sold the place after. I can ask her whatever if need be. Pretty wild. She's odd, but not one to fuck around like that. So even people on Reddit are seeing the baboon guys, the devil monkeys.
Interesting.
On the scale of cryptids I'd like to hug or stay away from, I'm closer to the stay away from these ones. More so than a Sasquatch. Sasquatch actually seems a lot nicer than these guys, overall.
I think it depends on the particular mood of the Sasquatch.
But this seems like 100%. These things are kind of just assholes. Oh, like you're gonna get an asshole interaction with this. Yeah, thing. Whereas with the Bigfoot, it's the personality.
Oh yeah.
Whether he's hangry, things like that.
Here's the distinguishing thing, I think, is these seem more wild animal-like and out for blood. Bigfoot,
except unless they're on the West Coast. Where they have like a sophisticated culture and sporting tradition.
With a human head.
Yeah.
They're cultured though. It doesn't count. Yeah. See, in the Bigfoot, he is like intelligent. They are mimicking, they are knocking, they are, I don't know, other stuff that I don't feel like listing right now. But they seem much more sophisticated, I think. And like maybe you could catch them in a good temperament, maybe you could catch them in a bad one. You don't want to fuck with them, but at least there's the option. They don't
in none of these sightings did I get the idea that this thing was sitting there thinking or doing something with its brain, like outside of the old tales of old.
Yeah, and that's why I said that, because none of them, they all seem to be instinct, like animal, like wild animal. But I'm interested because I'm only so far into where the footprint ends, which we haven't plugged that enough, I don't think, in the last couple episodes.
It's been a bit of a heavy Bigfoot era right now in the podcast.
Is there any mention of murdering?
No, not specifically.
Not yet.
I'd have to look back. I don't think there is.
I don't think it's come up for me as well. I'm much.
There's talks about death for sure, but it's generally not attributed to the Bigfoot. It definitely kills pets. Bigfoot definitely kills pets. Like, that's unfortunately part of it.
Yeah, I can't blame them for that.
But yeah, this episode was actually meant to like entail all of North and South America. Actually, it was meant to like just be like monkey people sightings around the world, and I had to limit it just to North America.
Yeah,
because there are
South
so
America
many different
monkeys,
like cryptid monkeys. Yes, they do, but they also have cryptid monkey creatures like Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's
called the Mono Grande.
It's weirder in an area where monkeys are not native to the area.
Yeah.
Just Bigfoots are native to the area. So it's much weirder when you get like a regular monkey.
I know, because the cop can actually just say, "Oh, you saw a monkey."
Yeah. Are you sure you didn't see a Bigfoot? Are there any more Reddit sightings of monkeys?
No, that was the only one I could find. There probably is more, but man, can it be hard to search Reddit sometimes.
Yeah, it can be hard.
And like devil ape or devil monkey sightings ended up coming up with far too many people who saw the devil.
Yeah, and sometimes not all Reddit sightings are good.
Yeah, that's true. Not like this one.
Yeah. We only give you the best of what we find on Reddit.
But yeah, there's a ton of like sub-types of Bigfoot sightings just in North America, where there are like distinct species that are distinct from what we normally think of as Bigfoot. And I thought it'd be fun to just look at one of them here and say like, these are the monkey-like ones with actual tails.
They're different than the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
From what I've learned in this episode.
And the hilarious thing is like Bigfoot's an undiscovered cryptid species. They're doing the work on breaking it down into subcategories of Bigfoots.
Yeah, the Bigfoot are, right?
Yeah.
Did I understand that properly?
The weird people like us who like to talk about the Bigfoots.
Right.
And that's probably a good enough spot to end that, because I was so eloquent with it. I have been Taylor, here with Chelsea. We are Journey to the Fringe. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Journey to the Fringe. If you have liked what you have listened to, please like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on what venue you are listening to us through. Also, please, if possible, leave a 5-star review, as that really helps us in the algorithms. Should you wish to interact with us, please check us out on your social media of choice. I bet you we are there. And if you really want to communicate with us and give us ideas for new episodes, or tell us that we're wrong and terrible, either way, please send us an email at journeytothefringe@gmail.com. For now, I'll see you in the next episode.